Game troops, welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Lit, and this is Fortnite Save the World, and we're talking about the challenge today, the banner challenge. I'll just show you in the quest log. It's this one here. This is the banner that everybody wants, the Frostnite event banner. So what you've got to do is finish all waves of Frostnite in the most difficult zone. None challenge missions only. Complete wave 30 of Frostnite in a 128 power zone, which is so difficult. Now, I've got a friend with me, Metcalf, who's actually been trying this with a group. And I know there's loads of you out there who've got little groups together who've been trying all different things. So hopefully what this video will do is give you some tips and some tricks that you can do. And also comment on the video as well. Reason being, what I want you to do is maybe you could tell Keflex, oh, we've tried this and this works, or maybe, you know, you could take something from these ideas here. But if we all share the ideas, then we're going to get more of us towards this banner. If you're in the Discord already, or if you've just got the banner already and you want to let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to know how many people have got this. I will put a questionnaire as well in the top right-hand corner of this video, so where the little white letter I is, I'll actually put something up there just to see how many of you have actually got this already. I don't think it'll be very many. I'm sure some people aren't even trying, but I just think it's one of those things that, you know, it'd be it's the ultimate flex, isn't it? It's the ultimate flex in the game. So let's just, without further ado, let's jump over to Keflex and see what his tips are. Well, thanks for joining us first of all then, Keflex.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. There's a lot to go through, so yeah, let's get right into it.
Well, what I want to do, hopefully, what this video is going to be, we're going to share some tips. So you've got, I thought, we spoke before, you've got a fantastic strategy that I thought it'd be worth sharing. Now, the pictures, it might be a tiny bit blurry on this video for some people, but it's only because we're doing the screen share. So we're actually looking at your screen here using Discord, which is absolutely fine. But the first question then that comes up all the time and that I've seen on Reddit all the time is, what do you feel that's the best team composition is? What's the best team setup to try and get this challenge done?
Well, on Reddit and on multiple posts online, the go-to strategy that people have been succeeding with is with one striker and then 3 controllers to chain their decoys.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Kind of like challenge the horde.
Yeah.
Because even though the decoy has been slightly nerfed to no longer attract mist monsters, it's still very viable. And people have found ways with teleporters and everything to be as quick and as efficient as possible with their decoy placement. Now,
that's the trending thing at the minute, isn't it, with the teleporters? That seems to be like the trending. Everyone says, right, just everyone get teleporters on, and when the takeaway wave comes, everyone jump into the teleporters.
Yeah, that's totally true. But the thing is, we are not good enough with that strategy. So instead of forcing ourselves to do it, we decided to, quote-unquote, work on our own strategy to make it as perfect as possible, which is why I'm not really going to show any composition of the controller strategy, but you'll definitely find a lot on Reddit and those other media where you can totally find a guide if there are more questions about that. But
so who would be the main 4 heroes then that you'd use?
In our current setup...
So who'd hero number 1 be?
Heavy base. So I'm running the heavy base of the team for the main purpose of having the overclock traps perk.
Okay.
Together with the bull rush.
Got it, to stop the smashers.
Exactly. You can stop smashers, you can send flingers back into the tunnel, and even propane. If you see a propane about to throw his tank, you can just bull rush into it, and it's all fine.
How far back does it knock the propane? Because that's not a tactic I've ever used. That's a great idea.
You don't per se knock the propane back, but if you see the propane husk pull up his tank, right?
Oh, I see, and push the propane husk away.
Exactly.
I thought you meant you were bull rushing the propane.
No. One quick thing though, whenever you see propane appear, whatever we do is we throw walls and a pyramid to try to minimize the explosion radius, so it only blows up one tile instead of the entire base. So that's something we really focus on. Okay. So when I play heavy base, I tend to run a hot fixer in support for pre-planning.
The famous Ice King.
Yeah, I mean he's very easy to see in this menu. And then power base in tactical for the power modulation perk, just to heal a little bit over time. Because during each downtime, you have 2 minutes roughly. So that's about 60% almost you heal for free.
And does that heal the base fast enough? Do you find for the waves? I know it's not going to be like it's not going to be like cheesing it. But do you feel that regeneration's worth it? Does it work?
It is really worth it because during each downtime, the walls will heal, and if you spend like 2 or 3 metal in each individual wall repairing, you're going to end up spending 200-300 metal per wave just on repairs. So if you can heal the walls for free, you're saving on resources to spend on expanding the base or reinforcing
Which are
it.
hugely important when it comes to this mode.
Exactly.
So first hero then, so power base with hotfixer, and then another heavy base with hotfixer, and then power base in the tactical.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And,
so what would be the next hero then?
Next hero would be the Machinist. Quickly looking through
she's
here.
not super popular as well.
Yeah, Machinist is indeed super popular. If I can just find her through here.
I can see her.
There she is.
Top.
Yeah. Okay. So Machinist in tactical will run a second Machinist. So let's see if I can find Thora somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, because trap durability is a must-have if you're going to go over 2 hours. And again, with power modulation to get that free heal off, to get to save on resources.
So does that stack then? Just putting him in the tactical slot. If you've got him in multiple heroes, you'll still be able to get the power modulation. So in effect, you regenerate it at 10%, yeah?
It doesn't stack.
Oh no, it's just what's attached to your base.
Exactly. So if two people put their bases right next to each other, they're not going to heal 10% every 10 seconds.
Got it.
It's only the person with the highest tech that gets to get all the buffs. But because we have two bases, we can just spread our bases out and pretty much cover almost the entire base, which is...
Got it. And get the 5% on a wider area.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the biggest reason why we play Machinist is for the supercharged traps. So increasing the damage by 30%. Which,
yeah, that's the... Yeah.
Yeah, in the end, that also saves on durability together with tough traps and once again overclock traps.
Okay.
Recycling is useful, but sometimes we forget to pick it up just out of panic and stress. But if we do manage to pick it up, it's actually a nice bonus we have on top of the current resources we're saving on.
Extra mats to repair and things like that.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've got then... So first off, we've got the... What did you say first? I can't even remember. Oh, yeah, so you got the heavy base and you've got the Machinist.
Yes.
So who's the next hero then?
The next hero is... We're still doubting. We can either go for the Berserker Wukong.
Yeah,
because Berserker Wukong has the leadership perk to reduce the cooldown on Warcry, which means you can do more Warcries, which is better. And together with up close and personal, you can also debuff husks.
With the debilitating stacks.
Exactly.
Because there's other Warcry heroes, isn't there? Obviously, there's First Shot Rio, there's Banshee, there's the Raider Raptor, who might be a good choice.
And that's the second option we have here. Boom, the Special Forces. The Special Forces Banshee is the base game version.
Yep.
And the reason why we also sometimes run them is also for the practice in combat together with leadership again. So we have the decreased cooldown. Now, when we run practice in combat, this is a very interesting setup. This is the one we are planning to run more often. We go for assault rifle damage and support, and in tactical, we put Stonefoot Crash.
Okay, that's an odd one then. So we didn't talk about that before. So tell me about Stonefoot Crash. One of my worst heroes ever.
If you look at the tactical, for the duration of Warcry, your maximum shields are increased by 25%.
So you're utilizing the Warcry there.
So that 25% shield increase can actually save you multiple times in the early game.
It's almost like she's made for this mode. She's not made for anything else.
Exactly. There are also no other really good perks you can go for in this specific mode, since all you're planning to do is, you want to optimize your survivability and the strength of your Warcry.
What would you not run? You've got Master Grenadier in there, but would a Sergeant not be an option in there? Because that's going to boost your crit damage on there.
Well, funny that you asked that. If you look at assault critical damage, you get a buff of 72%, which is
that's massive.
Very big. But I've done a quick little calculation in the background.
Oh, okay.
These are the stats of a bundle bus.
You have to read these out because it's a bit blurry on this screen at the minute.
Yeah, okay. So a full legendary perk bundle bus in this scenario has a base damage of, let's say, 10,000, right?
Yep.
And has a base crit chance of 43% and a base crit damage of 345%.
I can see where this is going. Yep.
Yeah, so the reason why we're going for the bundle bus is, of course, because it has one of the highest DPSs in the game. Now, if we go for the 24% of Master Grenadier or Berserker, you go up to 12,500-ish.
Yeah.
Which means that if you add the 345% crit damage on top of that, you end up with roughly 55,000 damage.
So you're slightly over using the Grenadier.
Exactly, because if you do the same calculation, the 10,000 damage, but with 417%, so that's the base plus the 72 from Sergeant, you only end up with 42,000. So you lose on average like 13,000 damage on a crit.
That's huge.
And non-crits are even worse. So
Okay.
it's because the base damage is more impactful than the crit damage modifier for a crit build.
That makes sense. So I know a lot of people are going to ask that because it's one of the first things I thought, like, for crits, if you're going to be running something like this, then get the Sergeant in there. But yeah, that makes sense. You're going to be losing out on loads by doing that. So yeah, okay.
Exactly.
All right. That's an interesting setup.
Exactly. Now for the final hero, there's nothing more that Special Forces does other than war cry and just shoot. For the final hero that we run the iconic Striker, in this case, Striker the Ice Queen.
Yep.
Yeah. In support, we now run either a Phase Scout. If you do not have Phase Scout, you may actually end up having a Wild Fragment from the Road Trip event.
Oh, right, yeah.
The Fleet perk increases your movement speed, which allows the Striker to farm just a little bit faster.
So that's going to be the Striker's main role. Okay, we'll talk about roles in a second, but that's going to be his main role then. Because he is the king of farming, or queen of farming, whichever it is. Depending who you're using.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, pressure points from the Shuriken Master to have the 30% movement speed reduction when you punch a husk.
Okay.
So if there's a smasher on the base, all the Striker does is pretty much drop its materials, punch a smasher, and then get out again. So that smasher has been slowed down, and he's back to farming. That's pretty much the sole strategy. Now,
so I'd love to know what what people are watching, what kind of their team, their team compositions are. So if you guys want to comment down below and tell us which 4 heroes you run in. But Kevflex, just tell us what's the main role then of each person. I know it seems pretty obvious, but we've got the 2 constructors obviously going to build. You've got the Striker obviously who's going to go out there and farm, and then you've got the who else did we have? Oh, the Soldier as well, who's going to be doing what? So what's each person's role?
Well, because we know each other as people, we know what our strengths and weaknesses are. For instance, I am pretty much the fastest builder of the team, which is why I play the heavy base together with the hot fixer in support, because I end up building the most of the entire team. So I'm the person who builds the trap tunnels, the lobber shields, the burner. I'm the guy who builds most of the time.
And the machinist then, what's their role?
The machinist's role is trap management mainly. The way how we do it is we have we know which person has what materials, right?
Yep.
And if we notice, okay, we have no traps there, and while I am building the base and reinforcing, the other machinist is just running around also reinforcing here and there, fixing up, patching up here and there, as well as replacing traps that have run out of durability. It's just because
so she's pretty busy then.
Yeah. It's more of a instead of just doing things fast, you have to do things with a keen eye. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And then you've got the Soldier then, so it was the
Special Forces in this
That was
case.
it, yeah. Banshee or the hero, yep. Exactly. So what's the role of this person? Because it can't just be to shoot, otherwise they're going to be stood for quite a while not doing anything. What do they do in between waves?
Exactly. Supply crates mainly. So each downtime there are 3 supply crates. They just get on their hoverboard, pick them up. And
so you have someone dedicated to supply crates. That's a good idea.
Exactly. And then if there's any blue glow nearby, any herbs, any bacon tin cans, or maybe a Krampus nearby during the downtime, the Soldier just goes ahead, war cry, kill the Krampus, or quickly get some more resources, and then head back to the base before the wave starts. And then during the wave, everyone just stands mainly on the burner, especially the Soldier, just shooting down the tunnel. And if there's a threat nearby, he just war cries and starts going ham again.
Nice.
So he's mainly like the last line of defense during the actual wave. and during the downtime, he's the one who does most of the gathering mainly.
That's a good tactic as well, because he's going to be you kind of min-maxing a little there, because you're not wasting ammo or resources on those husks that are far out that the traps can take care of.
Exactly. And then lastly, the striker.
Yep.
I think we all know what striker does. Striker does what striker does best: punch things to get lots of materials. And we have a dedicated loot spot. We know which person needs what materials the most, because some people have, double reload on the traps, others have max impact on traps, for instance.
Yeah.
We need, that person needs rough, or that person needs nuts and bolts. So the striker goes up, he says, okay, I've dropped this for you. And then
so you're going to need a lot of communication then to kind of tell him what you need, if you like, and then he'll go out and he can specifically almost farm to order.
Exactly. I mean, we play for a handful of hours every single night. We know each other pretty well. I mean, we are, even before Frostnite came out, we were already amazing with communication. So,
yeah, which is going to be important, I think, for this. If anyone's going to get this banner, it's going to be really important.
And another thing, again, it shows a little bit of working with each person's strengths, right? And this also goes out to any viewer. If you are a bad constructor, you should not say, okay, I'll be constructor. If I am not a good soldier, I think, or a good striker, because that's so tedious. That's why I said, okay, I'll build.
So you need a team that doesn't all want to play soldier.
Exactly.
All right, then we'll take us over to we were talking about stat distribution, so tell us a bit about that as well.
Okay, so this thingy, a lot of people actually overlook this, but when the hero system got revamped, this screen became a lot more detailed, where it explains a lot more.
Yeah.
Especially this final tab here. Now, trap damage is built based on your tech stats, as we know.
Yep.
But also from like other modifiers, for instance, your survivor set bonuses. Now, if you look at it, I don't know if you can see it on the right-hand side. Is it? Can you read it, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit. Increases the amount of damage dealt by traps. The highest damage multiplier in the party is used.
Exactly. So if we all have like 10, if we have 10%, which is absolutely horrid, that's like power level 1 Stonewood.
Yeah.
But if the final person has 3,356, then everyone's traps is 3,300.
So it gives the whole party that highest stat. Got it.
Now, the main thing to go for is this final one, trap durability. Mine is currently at 124%, and that is because if we go over to my survivor squads, I currently have here 1 trap durability bonus, 2, 3. So I have 3 trap durability bonuses, which ends up with
gives it quite a good boost.
I know, but if we now switch over back to the machinist setup from earlier, you'll notice something interesting. We're already at 174%.
Oh, so that's quite a big jump.
Yeah, it jumped up by 50%. Now, the person who plays machinist has, I think, currently 6 of those durability bonuses. So that's 48%. Plus the buffs from machinist, that's over 200% bonus durability that we get from
which
the
makes
person.
Which will make a huge impact in the actual defense itself.
So even if I place down a trap, my trap will get his durability bonus, but if he places down a trap, he will get my trap damage bonus. So by kind of specializing and min-maxing our stats as much as we can make sure we need to rely as little as possible on luck as we possibly can.
Yeah, and I think one way that you do that as well is actually, we talked yesterday about prepping for the actual waves, so knowing what waves are coming.
Yeah, sure. Let's now look into the timestamps.
Yeah, so this is each wave, isn't it? So this is each wave described as they're coming in. Up to wave 15 have you got down so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because past wave 16, it doesn't really get much more exciting, other than wave 18, where you have a taker wave. Wave 28, where you have a massive mini-boss, and Wave 30, which is a final taker wave to, finish the run.
So what we've got here, I mean, we can't see this very well, so if you just talk us through like each wave up to what you've got.
Exactly.
Or just talk us through the key waves, maybe that's probably better.
Okay, totally. So as soon as everyone spawns in, we know exactly what to do. The striker will start clearing the area where the husks will come from first. which gives me, the builder, enough time to start building initial trap tunnels. In the meantime, the soldier and the machinist will start searching herbs, searching tin cans, clearing out the barn, picking up all those goodies, so we can start having traps.
Okay.
So by the time the first 3 minutes are over, we have a first tunnel built. We have enough resources for maybe 3 or 4 wall launchers and 3 or 4 gas traps, which is more than enough if you just slap a base up on there. And then after that, the striker drops all its materials and he goes out farming for 2 to 3 waves, and then he comes back, drops everything, and he's out again.
So he's not even involved in the waves, he's just
farming.
Yeah, okay.
Because the more often the striker comes back to the base and goes out farming again, you're actually wasting time. So the longer he can farm continuously, the more productive he is.
Right, got you.
So for the first 2 waves, they're actually pretty boring.
Yeah.
However, at around the 10-minute mark, you're going to start having flingers. Now, flingers are not too big of a deal. What I do recommend is by that point you have your burner built. You have walls around your burner. It's solid.
We're going to have a look at the build in a second.
Yeah, obviously. And then at around that point, we also start working on a lobber shield. Because at wave 15, which is around at the 20-minute mark, you have lobbers.
Right,
now,
okay.
A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, I don't really need much of a lobber shield. A lobber can literally screw you over. One single lobber can screw you over because the propane can be ignited by lobber bombshells.
Would you have propane husks coming in at this point now?
Not yet, but
right, okay.
if there's propane on the ground and the lobber skull hits that propane, it's going to blow up. Even if it's on the other side of the map, it will blow up. And that can be really frustrating.
I can imagine.
As, of course, if you see your ceiling traps getting destroyed by lobbers, that means that all the resources you've invested in them is also going to go to waste.
Yep.
So a lobber shield is so important and cannot be overlooked.
Okay, so we're going to have a look at that in the design in a second then. So what's the next important wave?
I would say wave 6. So right after the lobber wave, we want to make sure we have at least 2 bundle buses, because then it gets exciting. We have our very first mini-boss. And the mini-bosses is where a run can just end right then and there. If you have something like Ricochet...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean,
or tank healer.
That's the hard part, isn't it? Sometimes this is going to be random, so you might have the best setup and a great plan, and it can all go wrong just because you get that wrong boss. You get that horrible boss that comes in and just ruins the whole show.
Exactly. You can be the best player and still fail on wave 6, or you can be the worst player and actually succeed if you got lucky for the entire run.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to trial and error. Keep on retrying. Hopefully have one lucky run where you can use the best of your strengths to actually succeed.
So how much of the base is built then by wave 6?
Hopefully everything. Hopefully by then we have everything. Of course, we'll look into the base in a bit. But by then I hope to have built everything, because by wave 7 we start having propane. And by then I want to make sure I can just sit back and I don't have to be inside the tunnels again, because if I still have to build by then, I'm just asking for trouble.
Okay, so there's a lot of, like I said, you have to be extremely busy in them first 6 waves then to get everything ready, be that with the farming, with the builds, getting the trap set up. So, exactly. I mean, that's going to be a busy time, but that's going to be key, setting your foundation for the rest of the game.
Yeah, if you can make it through the first hour with ease, with little to no problems, I can assure you that the chance of you winning is really high. Of course, for the second hour, you just need luck. If you have bad luck once, it's over. But if you do not have bad luck and you have the foundation set on the first hour, I can almost assure you that you're going to win. Because we've had games where we're just sitting back, where it's fun, it's casual, we're cracking jokes, we're going through waves, it's going super smooth, and then bam, mini boss and it's over. So it's if you really have a good base, you'll feel that you have less to worry about, which is first of all more fun because you have a lot less stress.
Yeah, of course.
And it also gives you a little bit of confidence, because we have had runs fail, but we ended up laughing because we knew that we were so close to getting that banner, because we had the strategy. We just had bad luck. We all said it was just bad luck. Let's try it again.
Well, we saw a Laura SC, didn't we, get right to the end, and it was just a case of not putting the blue glow in the burner, and that's all it took. And then all that time was just gone.
Exactly. I mean, he was on a taker wave, so of course, if you stand still for a second,
Yep.
takers will get you. So of course, he had to gamble. He had to say, "Will I risk my life or will I risk the blue glow?" And again, it's bad luck. He took the bad gamble, and
but that could have easily gone the other way, and then they would have done it.
Exactly.
That was it, a split second. That's what I like about this challenge, though.
Yeah, totally. It's exciting, and best of all, the rewards you get are not half bad. You get tons and tons of rewards. You get, I mean, on our average runs, you get like 150k XP with like 200 reperk and 200 legendary.
Yeah, that's massive.
Which is really good for
if you're having fun as well.
Exactly. So that's why we do not mind running these runs over and over again, because we get good rewards, we have fun, and we know that every game brings us closer to the banner. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, though, about the mini-boss is our strategy. So whenever we see the mini-boss, we call it out. Everyone opens their mini-map, we call it out. And we say, okay, mini-boss south, mini-boss east. I go over there because I'm the heavy base.
Yep.
I see the mini-boss, I drop my slow field. He's charging right at me. I bull rush into him.
Yeah, stop the charge.
Yeah, and then the Smasher is exhausted for a good 2 seconds. But because he's stuck in the center of the smoke screen was in slow field, he's slowed. He can't really move. So then we just war cry and we fill him with lead. That has been our go-to
and that's been working so far.
Exactly. The only time when it doesn't really work is when it's a trap vulnerable mini-boss.
Yeah.
Or a ricochet, because if it's a ricochet...
Yeah, don't war cry then.
Yeah, we war cry, we shoot once and we're all dead.
Yeah.
We literally had one run where we just all died at the same time and just decided, you know what, let's just give up. We're not going to win.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do with this list then with the waves. I know you've not fully completed it yet. When it's done, I'll link it in the announcements in our Discord so that people can come and see, and then they can plan a little bit better. Do you know what each wave is? So I'll put it in the announcement section in there so then people can see it. But what I'm keen to see, what I want to see here is the build setup. So I actually want to see the base and the actual build, because I know people are going to be really keen to see that and how the base actually looks.
Yeah, sure, totally. Let's move over to creative to show off the build. Okay, so like it or not, but this is how the burner is. It's not your simple retrieve the data design. It's much more complex because, again, we try to minimize risks as much as we can.
Okay.
The main thing you may notice here is that we do not have a flat floor here, where you often put a floor launcher with a ramp, right? That's how most people always do it.
Yeah, every time that we build in or we see people, that's one of the most common.
Exactly. But it's actually a very simple thing. If a smasher or a mini-boss is going to go for the base, he always needs to see a flat wall before he starts, smashing his way through, right?
Yeah.
But if the smasher is standing, for instance, right here, you actually have these angles.
So he's not going to charge.
Yeah, technically, the mini-boss or the smasher does not see a flat wall. So he's just casually walking through. When he gets here, he still sees no flat wall. And even when he gets to this point, he's going to say, okay, you know what, screw it, I'm too close. Let's just start pounding on the wall, which means that the floor launcher, which is double reload, is going to send them back, send them up the floor launcher for the massive
Got it, so you're
damage.
constantly pushing them away from the base.
Exactly. And of course, by using these tiles every so often, we can just prevent the smashers from charging into the base, which again saves time.
Yeah.
Saves panic and stress, and of course decreases the chance of your base getting completely destroyed. Now, these corner pieces, most of the times whenever you put down a ramp, you often just throw down a ramp behind it for extra protection. Right? Exactly. So we technically did the same here,
but just on the corners.
Exactly.
Yeah, smart.
If we smash below this, we still have another of these angled pieces here, just as an additional backup if it were to go wrong.
Got it. Do you have much issues with that area, or is that tends to be pretty safe? I should imagine.
The burner we never have our issues with burners. The only thing that ever goes wrong is a smasher just if is a smasher just punching through, and that's it. We
Yeah.
never have we never actually even have big issues here. I think the biggest issues is often like at around this point, like at just right outside the tunnels, like a random propane or a random thingy going off,
Got
which
it.
is always frustrating. But it's never really the burner that has a lot of issues.
And just walk us through them kill tunnels then, because they're going to be important. So just walk us
Okay.
through one of the sections. So this is one of the. So the husks come in from which area?
Okay, so
This is a spawn point here.
Exactly. Now, if I use a little bit of imagination, but this is the barn.
Okay.
Like,
Yep.
I think you can kind of see because this here is where the pit is. The
Yep.
pit where you do the cash run. Remember where
Yep. Yep. Where the
save is
stairs are.
always in? Exactly. So if you can kind of see the barn, you can actually see that it's literally just timeout room after timeout room. The husk goes in, he gets pushed down into the timeout room, he walks out again. He then
Next
gets
timeout room. Yep.
yeah, next timeout room over and over again. And then here we go, timeout room, over and over again, up until the final layer where, again, if a husk were to, for instance, get here, he'd get pushed back up to this point, push it back, and then boom, he's like, he has to do this entire journey all over again.
So just zoom out a bit so we can see that shape again, because let's have a look. It's a little, like I said, it's a little bit blurry when they're flying. Just turn to the, yeah, that's it. So that's the setup there. So just 2 rows of kill rooms, that's it, down each side, and that'll pretty much do it.
And these wall spikes, they kind of represent wall lights.
Got it.
For the simple purpose to stun the husk for like 2 additional seconds.
Yeah.
Now, one quick thing to notice is that if we, for instance, are standing inside the base and we look at the tunnels, all you see are wall spikes, right?
Yeah.
But if you go towards the spawn point and look at the base, all you see are wall launchers.
Got it. Yeah.
If something were to go wrong, you would make or kind of if, for instance, a piece were to blow up. Let's say this piece were to blow up, right?
Yeah.
Then you would, for instance, you can still send the husks back. If this piece were to get destroyed, for instance, you would technically make the timer room just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So by having these launchers everywhere, you actually have fail saves if anything were to go wrong.
Oh, that's a good idea. So just show us this lobber shield then we talked about earlier, because this is important.
Totally.
Like the way that it's built is going to be important.
Yeah, totally. So at around, if I ping up the timestamps again, at about the 10-minute mark to 12 minutes, we start having flingers, and then I hit a head up. I built these corner pieces. I go on out. I start putting floors. I then build 2 ramps up, and then I just start placing floors. I place as many floors as I can because the more floors I have, the better.
Yeah.
So this has been our most consistent lobber shield to date. We have barely had any issues with this other than like a random skull coming in from nowhere and then just quick patching and it's over again.
Yeah, because it's just all wood. It can be put up quite quickly.
Exactly. So again, this is the top of the burner.
Yep.
Top of the burner, you go 1, 2, 3 out, 2 up, and then just a bit of floors, and boom, it's all covered.
Right, that's all the way around.
Yeah, the ramps exist for the fact that the mountain here, right?
Yeah.
So you still build ramps above the mountain, and there's also a mountain over here where sometimes there's Krampus asleep.
Yep.
You also build over there. So by doing that, you make sure that you always have everything covered, right? You always have every possible location a flinger or a lobber can be. He can be, he cannot throw his skulls, which means that the flingers end up entering the tunnel, which means again they're going to get sent up, take damage, and so on.
Got it. So tell us as well about defenders. Where have you got? Have you got defenders on this map at all, or do you not use them?
Well, actually, we do. I don't actually know what happened to them, but we build up from this height of the lobber shield, right?
Yeah.
We build up 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles.
Yep.
And then we start placing the floors. Now, how we ended up doing it was we just made a big box, a 3x3 box where we just placed in 4 defenders. Right.
Got it.
The reason why we kept it like this is it gives us the opportunity to still have a campfire here and there. So if I, for instance, just throw down like 4
For
defender
the extra
pads,
heals.
right? Then for instance, if they took a little bit of damage somehow, I can just throw down 2 campfires real quick, and they will just heal up again.
Got it. All right, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
God, there's so much to get right in this.
Exactly. The biggest strength of the defender is, though, that if you're on the taker wave, you can just run around, skate around, do whatever you can. And while you're doing that, the sniper defenders are shooting down the takers that are chasing you.
Yeah, with the obliterators.
Exactly. And I mean, one of us actually tried to play a little game of how many takers can we count to see like how many takers can we like see getting shot. And I think one of us ended up getting like 4 or 5 takers just shooting them. You can see them die right in front of your eyes. It's actually really funny.
And that's as good a tactic as what the teleporter one is. We were talking about the teleporter earlier. That tactic can actually work just fine.
Exactly. It's honestly a lot less tedious because with the teleporter, you have to set everything up preemptively. And if anything goes wrong or if a teleporter gets destroyed, you need to replace everything. But by doing this, all you have to do is just hoverboard around, going up and down from time to time.
Yeah.
And let the defenders do everything. You're so afraid you're going to get killed. All you do is you just go down, up, and you can just maneuver. It's like
you've got loads of little spaces to get around.
Exactly. It's like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games from back in the day. Well, one quick thing to note, though, about the top part of the burner is you can actually set up an additional defense mechanism. For instance, Allura, he didn't risk adding blue glow because he was afraid of dying, right?
Of course, yeah.
We saw that happen, and we thought, okay, how can we actually improve on this? So this here is just the bottom part of the burner. As we head up, I say, okay, I need to quickly add blue glow, but there are takers. We just run through this door, and then look around. There are walls everywhere. So all you need to do is just
got it. So you got that protection for a little bit.
Exactly. You can just add blue glow here. You can just sit back. Nothing will happen until you see the purple rift kind of
with the takers, and then you can get out of there.
Exactly. Then just go open the door and you're out again. So you have that additional defense. We try that controller strategy, and if your fans want to try out the control strategy, they're more than happy to try it out. And if they're successful, congratulations. But the way how we did it is...
go on. The way that you did it.
Okay, so the way how we tried it, actually, is by using these platforms. So we had a teleporter teleport us to this bit, for instance, and we just run up here. The decoy can reach down to 3 tiles. If it's a bit difficult, we just place a ramp down so we have a bit more mobility. We just go down, place the decoy, and run back into the teleporter.
Then you're back in that makes sense.
Yeah. So by that logic, you can prevent husks from entering the tunnel for 10 seconds straight by just putting them in the spawn point. And that's why the decoy strategy is so powerful, because with 3 controllers, you can technically have 30 seconds of downtime every minute.
Whoa. Yeah, that's going to be useful.
It's not our playstyle, because if you play triple controller, you do not have a soldier, you do not have a powerful base, you do not have buffs for your traps. It has its negatives, but I see why this is also a viable strategy, because, well, husks are not even coming close to the base.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so one thing that we were just talking about as well is solo gameplay. So what you want to be doing, so you can practice this, you don't have to, go for the full 30 waves every single time. To actually practice your builds, practice them early waves, it's worth jumping into solo gameplay just to see how quick you can get the base down, how quick can you get the traps up. And the great thing is it doesn't affect your mats in the actual rest of the Fortnite Save the World game. So you could practice this over and over and over so that you're getting bits right, do lots of dummy runs, and boost your communication as well. Okay then, Kevflix, so massive thanks for joining us today. Like I said, it's one of those things I want lots of people to comment on this, because what I want to see is, give some ideas. And we're not saying that, Kevflix is, we're not saying you're the absolute oracle on this, but you have got a great tactic, which I think is going to be great. And I hope, and I'm pretty sure, lots of people are going to take bits away from this, and they're going to be maybe, we'll use this part, or we can use these 2 parts. And then they may even say, well, all that works better than ours, but we had this one bit that might work in yours, and if we shared all the ideas together, hopefully we can get more of us to get that banner together.
Totally. I mean, we're a community after all, right? The more people we help get the banner, the stronger our community gets.
Absolutely. I'd love to see everybody. I mean, I'd love to see as many of you guys as what I can with the banner. I just think that'd be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And especially
perfect.
if it's as a result of these tips as well.
I would feel very honored.
All right, well, Keflix, massive thanks for joining us. And guys, massive thanks for watching this today. If you have got any comments down below, don't forget, make sure that you put them in there. If you're not part of the Litanah army already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching today.